guys, welcome back to my channel. So I haven't been posting every Sunday, and it's not because I'm being lazy, it's just because I don't want to just put up content anymore. I've been doing YouTube for over a year now, and I really want to make sure I'm putting out quality content, but I do want to get back on a schedule of posting every week because I feel like it helps me be more creative and just get better at this. But I do have some videos coming up. I definitely want to, okay, Nick. I know a couple of you have asked about my skincare routine, and I'm really excited to do that video again soon. If you guys watched my last video, you'll see that I turned 30. I feel pretty good. I don't really feel that much different. I don't know, people always made it seem like you turn 30 and like your life is over, but I feel my god, Nikki. I just hear toilet flushing, like all this noise. My god, go on the roof or something. Nick is working from home now, so I have to like share our space together, which is a normal thing we always do, but when I film now, it's like I have a whole bunch of other distractions. Seeing as I'm feeling super like inspired, I really wanted to make a video about growing up, expectations versus reality. I narrowed it down to only 10 things so I can keep this video short. Number 1. One of the biggest expectations I had growing up is that when I became an adult, I would be able to live wherever I want. I still think this is true. I feel like a lot of people will say that this isn't true, like you can't live whatever you want, but don't let other people's limitations get in your head. You can live wherever you want, but of course it's gonna cost something. Everything is gonna cost something, and once you get over that realization, then you basically can do anything. I know other factors go into it, like, you know, your job, your income, what type of lifestyle you're having. I've always said you have a choice. I'm like living proof. I did not grow up in like the richest neighborhood or with the richest family, and I definitely had struggles growing up, but I am where I am because I've made the decision to get here. I didn't want to stay where I was. I'd be lying if I said it was easy, which it wasn't, but at least I got to where I wanted to be, and I'm continuing to grow. Before I decided to move to New York, I knew I wanted to live in a big city, and I wanted a place that had a lot of opportunity and a lot of options, because I change my mind all the time, and I just wanted a place that would give me options. You obviously have to take into account the price. Living in New York, everything's pretty expensive, although I've gotten used to it somehow. I wouldn't be able to live in New York with a North Carolina salary, but I don't have to. Depending on where you want to live and depending on what type of lifestyle you want, you definitely need to research and make sure you're setting yourself up so that you can do those things. And I highly suggest getting out of your hometown. I think that's something everybody needs. Even if you decide to go back to that town to live, at least you are making a decision based on experience, and you're not making that decision based on what you think you have to do, you know? Okay, number 2. I always thought that when you became older, you would have no structure, no routine, meaning you would have a lot of freedom. This part is true. Yeah, you have a lot of freedom, but with that freedom comes a ton more responsibility. We are humans and we are creatures of habit. I don't mean like you need routine, like you need someone to tell you what to do all the time. But when you wake up in the morning, you need some type of routine. I am one of those people who hates super structured days. I don't work like that. I like to personally wake up and at least have an idea of what I'm gonna do. I write a to-do list every day just based on the things that I want to get done that day. And if for some reason I don't finish everything on the list, it's okay. I try to prioritize based on what's more urgent. Just having like a loose routine of like, I need to get this done today and I need to do this today. Making those decisions on your own, making mistakes on your own, learning your strengths on your own. Like that's the type of freedom that you get. And I think that is a very rewarding type of freedom. I was a pretty good kid in high school. I didn't drink or anything in high school. College was a different story. I was basing it off of TV, like whatever TV shows I was watching at the time. I don't know. Specifically, Clueless comes to mind, that scene where they're partying. Rolling with the homies. You can party all the time if you really want to, but I don't suggest it. One, it's exhausting. It is so tiring. Also, it's really expensive. Partying is not something I like want to do like on the regular. It's not even something that comes to mind when I think of like having fun. There has to be a legit occasion for that now. Like I'm doing it for a bachelorette party, or I'm doing it to celebrate somebody. Number 4. When I was younger, I always thought that I would be such a classy adult when I got older. I don't want to say that's not true. I think I'm pretty classy. That's just basically based on who you are as a person and like the person you become and how you grow. The reality of it is though, it's the last thing that you care about. You have so many other responsibilities that you care about. For the past couple years actually, I've always kind of been like this. I prefer if someone be more true to who they are and be themselves 100% than fake being classy. If you naturally are just a very classy person, go for it. But don't feel like you have to like change who you are as you're an adult to like fit into some type of mold that you think has to be the definition of being an adult. It's funny, this is one of the things I thought of as a kid. Like, this is what I cared about. Number 5. I think I had severe FOMO as a kid. I think every kid has severe FOMO. You just think you're missing out on everything and you're really not. I'm usually in bed by like 9:30. Like, I might not go to sleep until like 10, 11, especially if the TV's on, which is a really bad habit. If I'm up until like 11 or midnight, I'm like, what am I doing? I want to get rest. I'm exhausted by the end of the day, and by the end of the week, forget about it. Number 6. I believe you should wear whatever you want all the time. If you're going through a phase or whatever, I hate when people say that. I don't see it as a phase. Like, you're allowed to change who you are multiple times. Like, we're all trying to figure it out. Nobody pops out the womb knowing who they are from beginning to end. That's like, no one is like that. It's something I didn't even think I could do until I moved to New York, which is crazy. Before, I would wear what I thought I had to wear. Like, I would wear trendy things even if I didn't like it, which is so crazy to think about. Opinions are always going to be there, unfortunately. You should like dress how you feel, even if it's considered like opposite of what people expect from you. For whatever reason, when I was younger, like, guys wearing pink was such a weird thing. Like, all of a sudden you were gay, and I just think that's so crazy and stupid. Like, what does that even mean? Like, you can wear whatever color you want. There's not a gay color or girl or boy color. That's so stupid. I will say the things that I wanted to wear when I was younger have definitely changed. That's kind of the fun of it. Like, I can't wait until like I have kids and I'm able to be like looking back at pictures with them and be like, yeah, I wore that because that was cool. Like, that was like the style, or like I felt good in that. It's fun to watch yourself evolve and watch yourself go through the years. Number 7. I thought when you got older, you would just find love immediately. Love is very hard to find, not because you are undesirable or like it's you. It's more of everyone's trying to figure out who they are. So we're all going through these stages at different times. You may be ready for something and someone else might not be. You may be in the wrong place. You may not be in the right headspace. I do think that as you get older is when you do find love, and this isn't a hit at anybody who got married or found their soulmate when they were younger. Like, that happens, but I do appreciate that I went through all the relationships I went through, and I'm really glad I went to New York because that's where I found my soulmate. Also because I got to really figure out what I want and what I don't want, because that's just as important. I got to figure out kind of who I was before I settled down with someone. You really shouldn't be looking for love at all. It really just finds you. I know it sounds like cliche, but it really does. In the meantime, work on yourself. Know what you want, know what you don't want, know your strengths, know your weaknesses. Like, really work on yourself. The worst thing you could possibly do is get in a relationship and expect that person to fix you or help you like become who you are. You need to be independent before you're in a relationship, because if not, you will become dependent on that person in the relationship, and it's not fair to them or to you. Number 8. This is true, but not true. It's more of like a self-discipline thing. Don't let people tell you what you should or shouldn't eat. That is such a horrible stigma we need to end now. People commenting on other people's food and what they're eating and how much they're eating. It's no one's business. Aim for a healthy lifestyle. In my high school years is when I started really being health conscious. I just like started eating stuff that made me feel good instead of only eating things that tasted good. But it also doesn't mean that you have to give up all of these things. Everything's good in moderation. Like, obviously don't eat it every day, all day, because then your body is going to suffer, and not just in physical appearance. That should be the least of your worries. It's more about your health inside. I don't follow a strict diet or anything like that, and I don't suggest anyone do that unless you're working with like a doctor and you have a reason to. There's only a couple rules I follow, and that's to make sure I get enough water every day. I get 3 of these a day. 2 of them I'll do with liquid chlorophyll, which by the way has been a game changer for my skin, and I'll mention that in my skincare routine video when I make that. This is 4 cups total, and then I also drink a lot of sparkling water. I really don't drink anything besides water and wine. Whenever I'm dehydrated, I don't just feel bad like physically, I feel bad mentally and emotionally. Like, I'm just all over the place because I'm not hydrated. When it comes to food, I just try to make sure I get vegetables every day. A really good way to do that is to have a smoothie. Fruits, vegetables, you can get some superfoods in there like chia seeds, like some spirulina, whatever it is that you need. And then I can have tacos for dinner or pizza for dinner. And sometimes I don't. You should eat what you want. Just be mindful of not eating like, you know, grease every day. In general, I think leading a healthy lifestyle really isn't that hard. You just have to take the stress off of like good and bad food and like making it seem like you're having to give up everything for like vegetables or whatever. Like most things in life, it's a mindset game. Number 9. I wish somebody would have told me this growing up in a more clear-cut way, because nobody really talks about this. You go from seeing your friends in school every day. Like, you see your friends, you're all in the same routine. You all have class, extracurricular sports. You all have parents that are telling you what to do. Even in college, it's like that. Even with different schedules, like you see your friends a lot. When you graduate or when you move on from school, you don't see your friends as often. You guys move, like people move. I moved to New York. Most of my friends were still in North Carolina at that time. Like, I had friends that moved internationally. This person may be doing an internship. This person may be like traveling for a year. You don't have the same routine anymore. You might be going down a different path than someone else. That's natural and that's normal, but it's hard when you don't see these people every day. It feels like you just lost someone in your life. Not only that, it's like 10 times harder to see people. Right after college, I think I went through like a depressed state because I was so lonely. Also, you all are growing and changing as people, which is again completely normal. As people change, like your interests may change, like you may not have as much in common anymore. It's not always a falling out or like you don't like this person anymore. I'm still learning this, but I think as you get older, you meet friends at work and when you go out places and like just doing the things you love, becoming friends with the people you work with. Like I'm civil and we have inside jokes and stuff and we have fun in the office, but I try to keep it just in the office because I don't want the lines to be blurred, because then it makes for a very complicated life. I started vocal lessons over this pandemic and I love it. Everything's been via Zoom. They are going to be opening up the studio soon. I've never been to the studio in person. I've only ever met my teacher on the computer. When we go and we meet in person, maybe I'll see other people who obviously are interested in the same thing I am because they're taking lessons as well, and that's kind of how you meet friends. Also, I feel like once we have a house, like our neighbors will probably become our friends. The last one on this list, number 10. I just assume, like, you know, as you got older, like that's just what happened. Like you get married and all of a sudden like you have kids and get a house, and that's just how it's supposed to go. There is no blueprint to what happens after college or when you get older. You can have a baby first before you get married. You can get a house by yourself. You don't need to be with someone to have that. And there's so many different ways to do it, and I'm so thankful that our generation is changing the game. When I was younger, I always wanted like a huge wedding and like a princess ball gown, and now I want a small wedding. Like I want the smallest wedding, you guys. I want like 50 people or less. You don't have to follow a certain agenda or follow like the expectations of what people want you to do. In the end, this is your life. You make the rules. Like you write the story, you know, like whatever other cliche I can insert here. I think you should go at your own speed. I think we all need to trust ourselves a little bit more. Like our instincts are there for a reason. If you make a mistake, it's okay. Like that's kind of the whole point. Learning through your mistakes, learning through your experiences. That is all on this list. The bottom line, if you take anything from all of this, as you get older, you become more you. You develop this personality, you develop your interests, your values, and like the person you want to become. For the most part, you are who you are, and you just grow more into that person. I learn something new about myself every year. Every year on my birthday, I feel like this like epiphany of like learning something about myself. It's very hard out here, okay? It's hard out in these streets. But that is everything I've learned. Well, not everything, a couple updates. So I decided to pivot my whole business and start something called iEdit. It is an editing service for you. I have a whole landing page for it. I'm gonna put it here in the description below if you guys want to learn more about it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will see you guys next week. Bye.